Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully, I got sound. Let me know if you're here as I kind of adjust things and get things ready. My name is Rich Sheffer, and I do these live streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And it is Thursday, and it's 6 to 8. So that's why I'm here. I am let's see here. I'm just getting sorted here. If you are seeing this, which a few people are, and we'll get more, I'm sure, as time goes on, please say hello. Let me know that you're here, where you're watching from. Always better to make it a dialogue and less of a monologue. And I am just getting set up here. What we're going to be talking about today is biohacking, kind of an update of what I'm doing, and sharing just and answering questions. Show you some of the tools that I use, that I continue to use, and really, hopefully, help you take any of the experiences that I've had and to potentially explore or experiment yourself. And what I will say is that, like, all I'm doing here, all I want to do is share what I do. And I am not a medical doctor, nor have any degrees in those fields. So take everything that I do as just really just explaining what I do. Not necessarily a recommendation for you or not. You got to kind of take your own responsibility, etc. And I'm kind of a freak. And so it's quite possible that I'm doing things that might not be good for you. I do, check in with my doctor every 3 months or so for blood tests, et cetera, to stay on top of things. But, to each their own. And, I wanted to bring something from that company. Bummer. I'll just tell you about it. And let's see. So I also was trying to see if I'm broadcasting on Instagram, which I don't know if I am or not. I was playing around with it at the very last second, so I don't know if I am or not. I don't even know where to check to know if I am or not. So if anyone knows how to check, I guess that would be in Instagram Reels. I guess I don't really know. Let me know in the comments. So let's kind of say hello to everyone, and let's make this as active of a dialogue as possible. And I really, I don't have any preconceived agenda with this. I think next week, where I'm going to be talking about on Tuesday, we're not going to do Thursday, we'll do a replay, but on Tuesday, I'm going to talk about how I've used a journal over the last 30 years to really up my performance in a lot of different ways. That'll have more of an agenda. And I'm also going to do one on ADD and how I've overcome that, and and that'll be probably the following week. Both of those I'll have more of an agenda. Here, I really don't have an agenda. I don't put myself as an expert in these things, although I do a lot of them. And really, it's just for me to answer questions and share experiences that I've had with different things. So with that said, hello XX on YouTube, and Art on YouTube in St. Cloud. Good to see you. And Jason, hey, oh, nice there. Are you still is that an old picture of you, Jason? Or were you recently in the military? Curious. Mickey in Japan. Hey, good to see you. Long time no see. Curtis in Edmonton, Canada. Good to see you. Mickey's in Japan, as we know. And D. Thomas in Washington, D.C., the capital of our country. Poet. Good to see you, man, in Arizona, and Ned in Washington, D.C. as well. And thank you for sharing, Ned. You are my hero. Anyone who shares, please put #shared. And this way I can thank you personally as well. First one I've made in a long time live, says Michael Southwell. Good to see you, Michael, and glad that you can make it. I hope it lives up to whatever you're hoping to find here. And hey, Lisa in Miami. And Curtis, you're waiting at your doctor's appointment. I am doing well. Hopefully you're just in for a checkup. And yeah, I guess it's not that late. It's only 6 p.m. with daylight savings time. It's so dark out there. It seems later. Want to hear about the journal? Well, then tune in that day. I'm sure we'll put posts out on it. Hello, Rich. This topic is so weird for me. Listen to you before talking about it, just open to know more. Yeah, and so, what's interesting is that I've been doing really well. I don't know how many of you guys, I would imagine quite a few of you, if you watch my live streams, you've probably seen it, but probably should just share the photo first and we can talk about that. Because I've certainly, over the last couple of months, I've noticed my body has changed quite dramatically, shockingly so, in a good way. Let me see here. I'm going to make these smaller so I can get to the bottom here. And yeah, there we go. So let me see if I can, where is it? I'll have it in a second here. I think it was more recent than that. There it is. All right. So let's do that. And yeah, so let's see. All right. Back from open heart surgery. Wow, that's serious. Well, thanks for sharing, Trader Rob. Appreciate you, and I hope a speedy recovery. And Peter in New Zealand, good to see you, my friend. So let's see if I can share this screen here, just so you guys can see it real quick, or a window would be better, probably. So yeah, how about this one? So this was, let's see if I can make it the full thing for a second. I posted this to social media. What was really interesting was that I got more comments on this photo than anything I've ever posted. So let's see here. Can we make this bigger? I don't even know. No, that's about as big as it goes. But so that's me at 30 on the left, obviously. And believe it or not, that's me at 220. I got as high as 250. And so there was a time when after I took that and I wanted that to be my before picture, and then I gained another 30 pounds. And then I was hoping that I could get back down to that photo. By the time in my mid 30s, as I was approaching 40, that's when I found my doctor, and he kind of helped me get my life in order. And so you can see that that middle picture is me when I hit 40. And now that picture of me at 50, I took, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And so that is, I think I'm on the right track. And I am. And I hope that you in your life are in a place where you see improvement, not degradation. So I've hit 50, and yet I have yet to slow down, nor have I felt the need to. And I know that it's only a matter of time until that happens. But my goal is to push that out as far as humanly possible. I've become a big fan of Andrew Huberman. And if you don't know who he is, I strongly recommend you check him out. He's a professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford Medical School. I first came across him on, was it Joe Rogan? I think I first came across him on Joe Rogan, and he also did a 3.5-hour podcast with Derek from More Plates, More Dates, which is another place that I tend to get a lot of my information from. And Andrew Huberman talks a lot about optimal performance, and he is an MD. And, on the Joe Rogan podcast, he mentioned a couple of different supplements you could take for testosterone. And, testosterone is it's great for building muscle and things like that, but it's also makes you more ambitious, more driven, and more willing to do hard work. And so Andrew Huberman talks about that. He also has probably one of the best podcast episodes I've ever heard on dopamine. But I've kept my testosterone for the last 15 years at about 600, which is more the lower side of normal. My natural testosterone is in the 150s. It's been as low as 130, ever since my 20s. And my doctor, when they first took it, in my early 30s, where you saw that picture, my doctor was like, holy crap, you have the testosterone of a 90-year-old man. Now, some people are just more efficient with testosterone, so that could have always been the case. I don't really know, but I started using creams for a couple of years and then eventually went to injections. And I've been doing that for 15 years. I did take a year off, which you're supposed to never do. And all that happened really was I was a little less driven and I lost a bunch of weight. But then I've been back on for the last couple of years again. And but Andrew Huberman was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he mentioned a couple of supplements that you could take, Tunga Ali, and this other one called Phytocia Arestis. I don't know if you can see that or not, but Phytocia Arestis. And I wrote these down when he was talking on the podcast, and I ended up buying them. And what was interesting, though, is that I also found it difficult to get one of those. So I ended up buying a overall kind of just testosterone booster as well, just the supplement over the counter kind of Amazon thing. And I haven't had my blood tested yet. I'm going to probably test it next week. But I did notice, and the people around me noticed, that I was in a really good place, like that I was more goal driven than normal. I was more engaged at work. And I have to believe that probably taking a few of these supplements boosted my testosterone, which I was keeping at about 600, maybe higher, maybe to 700 or 800. I don't know. I'll find out next blood test. But it was really interesting to, one, feel it, and two, hear those around me kind of like notice it. And it made me realize that it just reconfirmed, I guess, the things that I've been learning about my body, about how to bring out the best from it. Now, what's interesting is, and I don't, as you guys know, I'm not a scientist, so you got to look this up yourself. But if you're a female and you take birth control pills, I think it's like 20%, but I could be way off on that number. Some percentage of women who do take the pill, one of the effects of it is plummeting their testosterone. Now, obviously, women have a much lower testosterone than men, but that little amount makes a difference. And knowing whether you're part of that group that has that suppression happen is very valuable. And one of the things that and a lot of the stuff that I follow and a lot of the people that I follow, one of the things they strongly recommend and stress is is using blood tests, and ideally having blood tests where, like, before you did anything, so that you do have a baseline. Having that baseline is kind of important to see, like, how would you know that it was suppressing something unless you had a measurement before, or it's so tanked currently. So let's kind of check back in with people, and then we'll see where you guys want to go. But I have a bunch of toys that I use, right? Like my glasses that help reset me in the morning, my portable Juve light, my Muse. I've bought some new tools that aren't here yet, but I'm excited about. Got my big Juve panels in the back there. And so I got tons of things I could talk to you about. Not sure what you want most. So let's kind of check back in here. Hi, Rich, watching from New Zealand. That was the last one I looked at. So good to see you, Peter, in New Zealand. Thank you, Poet, for sharing. And Red Lip Marketing, greetings to you in Colombia. And Poet, great transformation. I'm on that path right now. Well, good for you, man. And I hope that you have found the way of exercising that you enjoy most. I jump from thing to thing. I've yet to get back to F45 because I've been doing a lot of traveling. My goal is this week that happens, but I've been jumping rope a lot this week, and I love jumping rope. And I love to, I use this one jump rope called a smart rope. And what I love about it is that it's gamified, and you end up competing with people worldwide. And so more often than not, it gets me to do much more than I would normally do, because I'm looking at how much more I have to do to kind of jump in the rankings. Shallow, but works. And so figuring out what works for you is so much part of the equation. And the other part, which, I've been doing for working out, I guess, ever since like my 30s, early 30s or whatever. But only applied it to working out at first. And what I realized in a conversation I had with Katrina Ruth about writing, that this applies everywhere. And so nowadays it does apply everywhere for me. But with working out, because working out was so important to me, because I did not enjoy being fat. I did not enjoy my legs rubbing together when I walked. I didn't enjoy being so self-conscious about the way I looked. In fact, I didn't enjoy any of that. I didn't enjoy hating myself. I didn't enjoy never knowing what clothes would fit or wouldn't. I didn't enjoy any of that process. So I made a deal with myself that I would work out daily, but that I would work out every day. That was a commitment I made to myself. Or as many days as possible. That's not to say I don't miss certain days if I'm going on a flight or something, but work out every day. But I am free to not work out once I've gotten on my elliptical machine, because that's what I used to do daily all the time, after 5 minutes. So I need to work out every day, but after 5 minutes, if I'm not feeling it, I don't have to do it. And the reason for that is that many times I don't feel like working out, but once I start working out, I enjoy it, and then I continue with it. So that's always worked for me as it relates to working out. When I was interviewing Katrina Ruth, she had the same issue with writing. That, like, I asked her how she had become so prolific, and she said, like, that, you know, if I ask myself if I feel like writing, the answer is almost always no. But once I am writing, I tend to enjoy it and I continue with it. So I have this rule that I need to write for 5 minutes before I can decide. And that was the same rule I had for working out, but I never thought to apply it anywhere else. And in my life, what I've realized is that more often than not, whatever needs to be done, if I'm not doing it already, odds are it's because I don't really want to do it. And so the answer is always going to be like, I don't feel like doing it. I generally feel like doing whatever I'm currently doing, hence inertia and whatever. So I have this rule that I can't decide whether I feel like doing something or not doing something until I'm actually doing it. And that's like kind of across the board. I mean, we could probably come up with silly examples that wouldn't make sense for it, but in as many things as possible, I kind of have that rule for myself, because if I just go by how I feel, I might end up doing absolutely nothing. So thanks, my man. And hopefully you kind of find those things that work for you, Poet. I assume this is for men. Any suggestions for women? Well, a lot of the things I do apply for either men or women. Obviously, the testosterone, more specifically aligned towards men than women, but, you know, there does need to be a small amount of testosterone. I'm not a doctor, so don't know, but for women as well. All right, let's see. Haha. I hope it works on premenstrual women. I know testosterone does wonders on postmenopausal women. Interesting. I didn't know that. Good to know. I've tried supplements for the same. I was quite outspoken. In what way, Curtis? Testosterone. Oh, I don't want to end up looking like you guys. Yeah, I don't think that would be good for you, Emmy. This is really timely, Rich. Thanks so much for sharing. Our health is our wealth indeed. Where would I send you samples of some supplements I'm using? I'd love your experience feedback on them, brother. I wouldn't be the right guy to give you feedback on them, Poet, but what I would suggest, probably the guy that is the guy that knows more than it seems like anybody else, is Derek on YouTube, More Plates, More Dates. Horrible title for his channel, which has nothing to do with like picking up women or anything like that. The dude is a scientist and really has some of the best information out there. So Derek from More Plates, More Dates is someone that I've watched almost every single video he puts out. The testosterone booster that I used that seemed to make the biggest difference is this one. So it's called Black Ox. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Black Ox. I bought it on Amazon. I think it's like $60 for a month's supply. Haven't ran it past my doctor yet, but I will be doing that when I see him next. And yeah, Poet, I don't want you to get the wrong idea that I just don't feel I am knowledgeable enough to give anyone really good information or advice. I can just share what I'm doing and what I feel is working. Emmy Jane Fonda takes a low dose. Oh, that's interesting. Do you still fast? If so, what type? I haven't fasted in a while, but that means I'm due to fast. And my plan is probably next week, probably do like a 5-day fast. Generally, when I'm fasting, I will still drink some coffee and I drink water, but I don't eat anything. And I will chew gum though, which is probably you're not supposed to do, but just makes my life a lot easier to do that. And I find that after really day one is the only day where I'm like experiencing any kind of hunger. And then by day 2, I'm already starting to feel like a little bit high on life. And generally when I stop a fast is because I'm just overly bored. Like my mouth is overly bored and want to eat. The hunger kind of disappears pretty quickly, at least for me. That's generally the kind of fasting I do. I don't do like a daily intermittent type fast. I could, but it just seems like until I get my life more into a very routine way, that seems to be a little bit difficult for me. That's interesting. Transitioning from cricket to tennis in my old age. Wow. Tennis is tough. A lot of jarring motion, a lot of pivots, a lot of like stopping short. If you can do that as you get older, more power to you, my man. Do I do photobiomodulation? Yes, I do. I mean, that's why I have the Juve lights in the back there. I do it religiously daily. I also have a portable one that I carry around with me. Well, I don't carry it around with me, but if I'm going somewhere where I won't be able to use it for a while, I am known to take this. And this would be the smaller version of it, right? And right, like there we go. I could do this the whole time. So I do, I'm a big believer in that. So photobiomodulation, definitely a big fan of, and I believe in a lot of the research, and all you have to do is look at the research. Now, probably the biggest game-changing thing I've done as of recently, transitioning from chess to checkers, is the combination of these two supplements that I was taking, but I was taking in normal dosages, and but my doctor called me and told me about a research study and told me to check it out, and I did, and it sold me. And so let's take a look at that. I'd like to show you this research study. So let's see if I can show it to you guys, because this is kind of mind-blowing. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, let's see if I can. We don't need this window this big. There we go. All right. So the combination is the two supplements that I'm taking that I believe collectively have probably made the biggest difference of anything I've taken of recent, or maybe possibly ever, is glycine and N-Acetyl. N-Acetyl is a little bit harder to get your hands on, but we'll look to see if there's this one place that I think still sells it. But this was the research study that my doctor told me about. And so if you type in Glynac, G-L-Y-N-A-C in Google, you'll see Wiley listed on the front page, and it will link to this research study. It's also in the NIH database as well. But this is just the most absurd headline I've ever seen from a trial. It says glycine and N-acetylcysteine supplementation in older adults improves glutathione deficiency. Glutathione is the #1 antioxidant of the body. Oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, that's your energy levels, inflammation, insulin resistance, that's diabetes and etc. Epithelial dysfunction, that's your blood pressure, etc. Genotoxicity, right? That's DNA replication, muscle strength, and cognition. So taking these two supplements, that's what it does in an older adult. It boosts your most powerful natural antioxidant. It fixes energy problems that happen as you get older. It fixes or decreases inflammation, insulin resistance, blood pressure, DNA replication, your strength, and your cognition. I mean, that's an insane thing. Now, the challenge is that the FDA has taken N-Acetyl which is the only. Lots of drugs eventually become supplements, right? That's happened many times over the years. This is the first time ever that a drug became a supplement that's now becoming back to becoming a drug. Part of it might have to do more with the fact that N-Acetyl is people have used it in some way, shape, or form as an anti-COVID of some sort. I have no idea about that, but that might be one of the reasons why it is been taken off the market. It's first Amazon stopped selling it, and when they stopped selling it, Walmart was still selling it. So I bought a ridiculous amount for myself because I take a ridiculous amount. I was taking a gram of glycine and a gram of N-Acetyl a day, just naturally in my day-to-day of all the supplements I take. After reading this article, the 24-week period that these people were doing it were at a much higher dosage. The equivalent for me is about 12 grams of glycine a day and about 10.5 grams. No, I'm sorry. About 12 grams of N-Acetyl a day and about 10.5 grams of glycine a day, for a total of 23 grams, which is 23 pills in total. It's a lot. But I've also noticed that my skin has gotten more youthful and I've had more energy and my thinking has been, I think, on point. So the problem is that the only company I know that was selling N-Acetyl, and I don't know if they still are, was Swanson, because it's been taken off the market everywhere else. So let's just see. Let's see. NAC. Let's see if that's short for it. Oh, wow. They still have it. It looks like. I bet you they're selling the crap out of it. Yeah. I bet you they are. So that's the only place that you could buy N-Acetyl. It's Swanson. And at least I know that on Amazon and Vitamin Shop sells it too. Interesting. Cool. All right. So let's see. But that's something that read the research study. It's pretty mind-boggling, and you would just do a search under Glynac for that. Sounds great. It is great. Hi, Rich. That's so wild. I just bought 4 bottles yesterday when I heard Amazon pulled it. Yeah, they pulled it a while ago. But if you were going to follow that research study, the amount that you would be taking is pretty significant, right? Like in those pills, I bought 40 of those bottles for when I run out of the other bottles, which I bought probably about 80 of these bottles, which are 1,000 milligrams per, as opposed to Swanson's, which are 600 milligrams. And so there's 120 tablets in here. And so this lasts me 10 days because I'm taking such a high dose, right? So pretty, yeah, if it works, it generally goes off the market, right? So something to look at. And I would say of all the things I'm doing, definitely the one that I would most closely look at. Very cool that Vitamin Shop still sells it. I missed why it was taken off the market. No, it wasn't a negative reaction. There's no negative. It's just that the FDA wants to turn it back into a drug. And obviously it can't be sold as over the counter if it's a drug. And that's what I was, when I read into it, that's what I, oh, wait, did I have to do this, I think? Okay. So now I'm broadcasting live supposedly on Instagram. Can anyone tell me if they actually see it? Because that would be interesting. I've never done that before. And I wonder what comes up when I do that. Let's see. Does anyone know where you would even look for a live stream on Instagram? Would be really curious. Let's see. All right. I wonder, well, I would imagine that people will not be able to comment. I wonder if my phone would go off. If anyone follows me on Instagram, don't know. Let me just see, guys. Sorry. And I'm waiting for some more questions from you guys. Let's see. No, my story's empty, but maybe I go here. Nope. All right. I can't figure it out. So I am live. That's cool. Where am I live, Red Lip Marketing? Like, how do you see it? Where do you see it? Is it in my, like if you go to my profile, do you see it? Like, where do you actually see the video? It's so bizarre. Of course, I'll probably have to delete this after. Oh, videos, maybe it's there. No, I don't see it when I go there. So where do you see it? So yeah, let me know about that. Let me kind of share what's next. So I would say that, yeah, of all the things that's probably new, it is the Glynac. I don't think I was doing that the last time that we were speaking. And oh, it's in stories. That's interesting. So let me just see that. That's I wasn't doing that. Let's see. Not now. Okay, so that's to add to my story. Interesting. All right, I'll just play with it later and I'll figure it out. For those who just jumped on, saw it on my YouTube feed. Oh, no, I know I'm live on YouTube. I'm talking about on Instagram. But I assume that. Anyway, so let's see. You know, another thing, and we talked about this last time, but those that maybe weren't here last time, you know, there's a lot of conversation about the vagus nerve, how you really want to make sure that you have a balance between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And the vagus nerve is something that can be stimulated. And I have this one tool. It's called microcurrent, right? Stimulation. And this one is by Fisher Wallace. And last time we were talking about it, I explained that, like, I got this for depression when I was going through a really bad episode of it, and found that nothing really was working for me. And so this actually, I had heard about and read about in some article, and I actually asked my doctor if he would, not the doctor that I use right now, but like I think my psychiatrist, my ADD psychiatrist, if he would write a prescription for it. I don't think you need a prescription anymore for these things. And when I was sharing this last time, someone who was here shared, you know, in the chat that they had just participated in a research study where they were using this for insomnia. And so I found that interesting, and they said it worked well for them. So I use this still to this day. I go there are periods of time where I don't use it and I forget about it. And then, like, I'm having a problem sleeping, and then I go back to this. And so this is called the Fisher Wallace. It's microcurrent stimulation. You put the pads here and here. There are 2 pads, and you wear a headband, and I put the pads here and with the headband on, and I wear it for 20 minutes at night. And I find that it is helpful. And I did find when I was doing it twice a day, which is what they recommend for depression, it was really helpful for me at that time. Since I'm not depressed right now, don't really have a need for it, but for that reason. But definitely I've always had a problem sleeping. Well, not always. I've had a problem sleeping for the last bunch of years. And so everything that helps along those lines, I do. Another thing that I do, and it's especially useful when traveling or with daylight savings time, especially if it's not bright outside, I have these glasses, which you might have seen me wear in some videos that I've put out over the years. These glasses are green light glasses. So green light glasses are like similar to probably what you've heard about blue light. They help reset. Oh, I think I've used them too much. I got to recharge it. This, if you wear it for 20 minutes, and so I would put these on, and it's got, yeah, I don't know if you can see them. There are the lights. So hard to see when I have all this light on me. But so these green lights, as you can see, like there. I don't want to wear them right now because I don't want to be up all day, all night rather. What they do is they help like set the biological clock that it's now morning. And so you start processing some cortisol so that you're waking up. And kind of like a seasonal effectiveness light, if you've ever seen those, but compact where you can actually be doing other things while you're wearing it. Trying to think what else I've been doing that's new. I'm back to meditating a lot. I actually got back to using one of my Muse devices to meditate. Just it's a way of kind of keeping track and gamifying meditation. But I've heard so many good things from friends of mine who are much bigger in this space than I am and really spend a lot of time in researching and stuff like that about this tool that I had put down a deposit on a long time ago when they were just first working on it because a bunch of my friends told me to. And since then, I think they've been on Indiegogo and they're now like in like their release stage. And that is Sense, SENS.ai, sense.ai. And it is a neurofeedback, heart math, heart rate variability training device. And I don't think it's shipping until May, but it's like based on everything about it. It sounds really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to getting that and playing around with that. So that's kind of cool. And I'm constantly on the lookout for new toys. But I haven't really been, I've been working a lot, I guess. I also haven't really taken very much recently of any of the primary nootropics that I usually take, right? So no aniracetam. I'm actually out, and I just ordered more today because as I was thinking about talking to you guys today, I was thinking about some of the things that I used to do a lot of, and some of them I still want to. I just had run out and forgotten about it. The ones that I shared and we talked a lot about a previous time were two research chemicals. Let me see if I have another one of these. Well, I have this here. Yeah. Okay. Two research chemicals. These are, well, one is much stronger than the other. So the first one that I got to get more of the drops of it is Bromantane. And so it's Bromantane. You're probably never going to be able to read this. No, you're not. But Bromantane. And Bromantane is a very interesting chemical. You can look it up online. It's an interesting chemical because it is both a stimulant and an anti-anxiety at the same time. And usually those are diametrically opposed. So it relaxes you and also stimulates you at the same time. So you're calm, but yet focused. And so when I have friends here and I have some of this, I actually have to, like I said, order more. And they want to try something of mine. That's generally what I give them because I've never met anyone that had a bad experience on that. I mean, sometimes people might have a little much and then they're a little bit cranked, but only in a good way. And so that is Bromantane is one that I just haven't used recently, but not for any other reason than I ran out and I just got to get some more. And I buy this at science.bio. I get like aniracetam from Nootropics Depot. Then the more stronger research chemical I get from science.bio, but I haven't been using this recently, although I might go back to it and do another like protocol with it, is 9-ME-BC. And the reason I took this was to regenerate, and this is what it does. It regenerates dopamine receptors in the hippocampus. And if you abused a lot of stimulants when you were younger or did a lot of drugs when you were younger, both of which I did, then you've probably burnt out quite a bit of your dopamine receptors, like in the hippocampus. And this is, for the best of my knowledge, at least, it's probably why you might have a tolerance for those things now. I have a tolerance for pretty much everything, but I did find that when I took this for a period of time, it kind of reset me back to where stimulants had a powerful effect on me. And so that is, I like keeping my sensitivity for that, so that this way, when I need to kind of put it into hyperdrive, I have that ability to do that. I still chew nicotine gum, and nicotine is one of the most proven nootropics out there, and it does help the brain work better. So you just got to be careful that you don't get addicted to it. But chewing it doesn't have the same impact health-wise as smoking it, and so that's something to look at. Trying to think of other things, that I'm doing. I've definitely cut way back on my soda consumption, but I still drink a lot of coffee. My coffee has kind of replaced a lot of the soda. So let's see what you guys are saying. Okay. Do I know anything about the research on thymus? Apparently there is an anti-aging drug being developed related to that. No, I don't. Let's take a look at what thymus has to say, what the world has to say about thymus. What was interesting, though, is that in my last blood test, and some of you might fall into this category, my iodine was low, because we had switched from ionized or however we had switched to like Himalayan rock salt, and that doesn't have iodine in the salt. And iodine is really important for your thyroid gland. And so I had to start supplementing for iodine, just a small amount. Let me do thymus anti-aging. I got some cool apps, right? Like I definitely am a big fan of the Oura Ring, and I wear that, without fail. I used to have a Whoop, but Taylor and got rid of it because I didn't feel it was accurate. But Taylor Welsh resold me on it, so I'm probably going to get it again and try it. What was I going to say? The app that I really like, that I'm playing around a lot with. So I use the Oura app all the time, and to check out how I'm doing and all those kinds of things. But a different app called Humanity, which tells you your biological age, your real age, kind of, so to speak, and makes recommendations every day on how to hold off aging as much as humanly possible, and how to raise your score. It gamifies it. And so I've been really enjoying that, and that's been a lot of fun. And I would say that that's gotten me even more inclined to do a lot of things that I know are healthy for me, because for whatever reason, I am easily influenced by gamification. That's interesting. Cool. Yeah. Bromantine. No, not Bromantine. Bromantine. So not INEANE, just for the record, Evelyn. Did you make the workshop a couple of weeks ago? What workshop would that be? I'm not sure I know what you're referencing, Trader Rob. Do you have a list of the items you were mentioned here? I just jumped on. Not right now. I don't. I was putting it I was putting a list together of different things I take, and didn't get as far with that as I wanted to. Let's just move that for a second. And I'll show you the things I take daily. So let's do that. Stop screen and then share screen. And so I was just putting this in, I was just filling this out, and I don't know, hopefully you guys can see this well. So here are the different things that I'm taking at this moment. But there's certain things that as I put this list together, I realized that I had stopped taking and I want to put back in, like aniracetam and stuff like that. But I take 3,000 milligrams of ashwagandha with 12 milligrams of black pepper. These are in the morning, right? These are water soluble, which means I take these all with water and on an empty stomach. And then I will take the fat soluble ones a little later after I've put something in my body. I take cordyceps mushrooms. I take 1,000 milligrams of that. Bacopa, 1,000 milligrams of that. Rhodiola rosea, 1,000 milligrams of that. EGCG, 800 milligrams of that. Iodine, 1,000 micrograms. Tunga Ali complex, 1,020 milligrams. Fedosia agrestis, these are for testosterone, 600 milligrams, or fitness, really. Creatine, I take 5,000 milligrams of creatine a day, and it breaks out into these 3 different forms of creatine. This is the one I was telling you guys about, the Black Ox Testosterone Booster, which I haven't cleared by my doctor yet, and he might tell me stop taking that. But it has a lot of stuff in it. As you can see, it has acara extract, 1,500 milligrams, fenugreek, I can't even pronounce that, 1,000 milligrams, Fedosia, another 1,000 milligrams, bubbling, whatever powder, 500 milligrams, long jack, 300 milligrams, mucana purines, 200 milligrams, right? DHEA, 100 milligrams. This is like a power pack stack. All right, anti-aging, CoQ10, I take 200 milligrams. Niacin, I take 1,000 milligrams. Acetyl L-carnitine, I take 2,250 milligrams. Berberine, I take 1,000 milligrams. TMG, I take 750 milligrams. Zinc bicolinate, I take 100 milligrams. Alpha lipoic acid, I take 1,200 milligrams. NMN, that's what David Sinclair, the anti-aging guy that discovered resveratrol, recommends. I take 1,000 milligrams of that. I also take 1,000 milligrams of nicoside, ribo, whatever. That's not on this list because I ran out and I get my new shipment tomorrow. I also take huperzine A, which is a nootropic, and it creates a slight kind of euphoria as well as an up, and I like it. Here are some of the fat soluble, and I haven't put them in any order yet, but here are the fat soluble ones: vitamin D3, mega red omega 3s, biopurine, L-tyrosine, lutein, resveratrol, and this other thing, which I can't pronounce, more dopa-mucana, quercetin, helps get rid of dead cells, etc. 1,000 milligrams, selenium, 200 micrograms, and more resveratrol and lion's mane. And those are everything I take in the morning right now. But there were other ones, and I will post the. Give me like a week, and I will post this in the Facebook group, and I will put a link to it also in this video in the comments section, I guess, when in YouTube as well. I might as well get it all done so that when you have it, you can see everything that I do. Let's see. Okay. All right. So that's the list. It's 9-ME-BC. And this I do not recommend for everyone. I only recommend it to someone who has abused either drugs or stimulants for a long time, and they're paying a price for it, because that's why it was recommended to me by Ryan Ballo, who has Cortex Labs, and also a great source of information, someone who I watch pretty religiously on YouTube. Cool. Isn't that too much, Rich? You're not afraid that you might collapse or get hit by the side of effect of all that stuff? No. I feel great, and every time I get my blood tested, I'm told how great a shape I'm in. And when I've gone to, like, my girlfriend Kim and I had a client in Kansas City who had these CT scan. Let me get back to me. Clinics where, people would spend quite a bit of money and they get their whole body scanned. And from that, they can see pretty much everything that's going on in the body, including how much plaque you have in your arteries, et cetera. And back then, I was drinking a lot of Jack Daniels, smoking a lot of cigars, and drinking a lot of Diet Coke and all those kinds of things. Meanwhile, Kim like ate salad, was 99 pounds, and really tried to live as healthy of a life as possible. When they scanned me, they couldn't believe it. And they were like, just whatever you're doing, just keep doing that. And with Kim, it was very much not that. And so I know a lot of that has to do with genetics, but I've always been I've listened to my body. And so while I do a lot of stuff, I feel great. And so I continue to do those things. And when I don't feel great, or when I change things and something's different, then I look more deeply into it. But I like to experiment on myself. I am always interested in taking things to different levels and seeing what it feels like, and how good can good feel? How great can great perform? These are questions that I like to kind of experiment my way through. I get it though. And for some people it could seem obsessive, and I guess I just have an obsessive personality to start with. So there might be that anyway. Science.bio. Yep, that's the one. About a month ago, you had a female guest who was having one on the 6th in Vegas. An event on the 6th in Vegas. Well, I went to 2 different events, or 3 different events. I was at the mastermind for MFA, Top 1%. That's Todd Brown's company. And that was great. That was in Orlando. I came back for a day or two, then headed down to Mexico to Cabo, my first time there, for Amber Spears' mastermind, the Mimosa Mastermind, which was phenomenal. And the people there were phenomenal. And the experience was phenomenal. And the hotel was phenomenal. So that was great. And then from there, I went to Vegas for ACS, which stands for Attract, Convert, Scale. That's put on by Strike Point Media in partnership with another company, but I don't remember the name of the other company because I'm much closer with Jeremy, who owns Strike Point. So I spoke at all 3 of those. I spoke at all 3 of those events. They were all fun. And it's very easy for me these days to give a killer presentation at any mastermind, because all I'm doing is really sharing strategies from Steal Our Winners and giving credit to the people who shared them with me. In fact, what I'm working on right now is we're going to be doing some kind of campaign. Ideally, the plan is for doing it in December, where we get rid of the lifetime offer for Steal Our Winners. And, I know that in the past, I've created 2 webinars for lifetime, and I just don't feel like I've really nailed it. And so I really am eager to take another crack at it. And the reason I say that I haven't nailed it is, one, I've been credited with growing businesses by about $20 billion in total, right? And I think I'm the only person, I am the only person I know that has $1 billion testimonial, and that's from Agora Publishing. And what I don't think most people really get is that 99% of the growth that I've helped companies get, or whatever you want to call it, have come from putting the right strategy or tactic in place at the right time. So the $1 billion testimonial from Agora came because I saw in 2006 the VSL that John Benson had made for Six Pack Abs, or Mike Geary's company. And I saw that, and I knew right when I saw it that it would capture attention for a few extra seconds. I'd already studied attention and wrote the Attention Age Doctrine 1 and 2. And so I saw that, and I brought it to Agora, and that helped Agora grow by $1 billion. And when we did it with automated webinars, when we invented that, had the same kind of impact. And so, I see out there these courses and programs on how to scale. And yet, most of those courses are all logistical or operational or administrative. And look, there is no doubt that those things are important. You know, what Gazelle teaches, right? Like the Rockefeller habits and scaling up, or what E-Myth teaches, or what EOS is, or, you know, any of those programs, right? But like, but that more, like getting your house in order is more what is necessary when you're scaling, but it is not what causes your business to grow. It can help it grow, but it's not the major cause. What's the major cause of business growth is generally, like online especially, is kind of either a offer that is so superior to what you've experienced before that you're now able to advertise it in many different places and make it work, or a channel, like getting on that channel fast, or a tactic, getting on that fast. And I'm not the only person that thinks this. Like, I just spoke to Perry Marshall the other day about this, like sharing with him that, like, it's kind of strange to me that most people don't really recognize where most of the growth comes from. I was watching this documentary on this one company called Gymshark, because I was curious, like, what is this company? I've seen a lot of people, a lot of bodybuilders wear it. And Gymshark was two guys in their garage making clothes, and they would happen to be the first company to recognize that people who had a following on social media were influencers, and they sent them clothes, right? They would send them some of the shirts they're making. And lo and behold, like, Gymshark became $1 billion company, $1 billion company from two guys in a garage. And that story is a story that I've seen and heard, like, you know, different, you know, told differently about different companies, but that's how, you know, that's what I see as generally the primary cause for huge growth. And so I've made my career out of doing that and helping companies do that. And I did it passively. Like, I wasn't out there talking to everybody and anybody to figure out what was new. That was just what I was doing on the side. Nowadays, I do it full time, and I do it for members of Steel R Winners. So the single cause of me creating as much growth as I've created was rooted towards something I did passively that I now do very actively. And the opportunity to plug in, get the 200 strategies and tactics that we use now, plus be able to use me from this day forward in my complete network to find the next ideas for you, to me, is why I don't feel like I've done a great job yet on the webinar, because, like, I think if I can describe it better than the way I'm describing it right now, I think more people should avail themselves of it before we take it off the market. And even though I have mixed feelings about people buying it, because I know how much it's going to be worth later. And in fact, I think the more people that don't buy it, the more money we'll make later. But I also have always tried to make it so that the people that buy into my stuff early never regret it and are actually feel very happy about it. But you know, when I ask a entrepreneur, like, to think about the strategies that they're using and where do they sit on the curve? Do they start are they at the beginning of inception, like where these strategies first started? Or are most of them like strategies that everybody knows? And if you're using strategies and tactics on platforms that everybody knows, then why would you ever think that you're going to stumble across that thing that's going to be a game changer? You won't. And even if you did, you'd get in too late and it wouldn't make a difference. And so there should be in everybody's thinking process and some allocation of time of some sort, always being on the lookout for what potentially could be the next thing. The next thing is not generally going to be something that you see advertised on a ClickBank offer or a BizOp offer. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that gets you to stop and pay attention yourself to something, or a new platform that everyone's talking about, right? And being the first to master advertising on that platform, or something like that. I use AC11, Pharma, Gaba, 5-HTP, and Neurofactor with outstanding results. Have you heard of those at all? Well, I've certainly heard of 5-HTP. It's a serotonin precursor. I would assume that some of these other ones are as well. I don't know. I'm going to take a picture of it. So let me do that. Do you know, Poet, Well, what's the rationale behind taking those? I don't know what AC11 is, and that one sounds like very interesting. So let's see what that looks. What is AC11? AC11. Peptide? Sounds like a peptide. Oh, it's abates acidic keratoses in early. I have no idea what that is. Oh, I'll read about it later. Oh, it's from tomato. Is it from tomatoes? No, cat's claw. Oh, okay. DNA repair supplement. Huh. Haven't heard of this. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'll have to look into this. No, I haven't. But I know about 5-HTP. Pharma GABA. I don't know if that's a form of GABA, but let's take a look at that. GABA, what your body, I think, produces when you're sleeping, if I remember correctly. Pharma GABA. What is Pharma GABA? I guess it's just regular GABA with high. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at this too. These sound interesting, Poet. Interested in, how did you come to take these different ones out of curiosity? Like, did you just do research and kind of settled on these, or did someone recommend them to you? Get exercise just handling the Black Hawks. Yeah, it's a big bottle. Can you please link to this spreadsheet? I will, but it will be like next week when it's full and done. I use Cysteine to get my blood pressure, helps cholesterol energy. Cool. Yeah, I like taking niacin. It, you know, I don't really feel the flush anymore from it, but it's good, especially when you're doing the red light, etc. Do you know the recommended daily amount of NAC? I was told to take it on an empty stomach. N-Acetyl carnitine is different from N-Acetyl cysteine. I ordered the wrong thing once before. Yeah, they're totally different. April, you'd have to read the study on the research if you're going to follow that research, and it's based on, so I weigh 190 pounds, and a 190-pound person needs to take about 12, like I said, grams of N-acetylcysteine and about 10.5 of glycine. I needed my doctor to help translate it for me because the research study is in molecular weight. And I didn't know how to convert molecular weight to grams or micrograms. And so he was the one that made those calcs for me. But it really depends if you're following that research or not. I mean, before that, I was just taking a gram a day of N-acetylcysteine. Oh my God, Flying Logic. Awesome. Wolf McNally's in the house. His software is like an amazing piece of software. So I use his software. Well, if you're looking for N-acetylcysteine, the only place that I know that sells it is Swanson. So Swanson vitamins. They sell bottles, and they're not even that expensive, 600 milligrams. So I don't know of any place that still sells the 1 gram bottles, but the 600 milligram bottles you can get at Swanson. Flying Logic is a software tool that I first was exposed to with theory of constraints. And the reason why the software is so cool for theory of constraints, but it's actually cool for a lot of other things too, is that when you're using, when you're diagramming stuff in theory of constraints, you're diagramming cause and effect relationships. And as you're doing it, more thoughts come to mind, and there are new pieces to put on the diagram and new causes and effects, etc. And it's an incredibly messy process because the diagram needs to change all the time as you figure out more things. What Flying Logic does that I've never seen another program do is that it redraws the diagram every time you make a new entity or draw a new connection or anything. So I still to this day use Flying Logic, even when I'm not like, I don't very often do theory of constraint analysis on many businesses. That's not generally what my day-to-day is anymore. But I will, like, when something's not working in my own life, I will start with that and do a root cause analysis using Flying Logic. And I just find it like such a great tool for any kind of diagramming. Very few diagramming products will rediagram every time you make a new entity or connection. And I don't know of any other one, actually, in a way that is pretty advanced, not just like a mind map and kind of reorganizing a mind map, but actually redrawing it. So definitely worth checking out. And Wolf, I know that we're supposed to get on the phone at some point or a Zoom call. I don't know if we've ever talked, but I've been a fan of your software forever. I'm trying to develop my strategies for marketing smart contracts and crypto development companies. Any advice? Well, that's kind of a wide open question, isn't it? I don't even know what you mean, though, by trying to develop my strategies for marketing. I'm trying to develop my strategies for marketing smart contracts and crypto development companies. So what are you actually marketing now? Like the smart contract for what, right? It's not... Unless I'm missing something. And I don't know what a crypto development company is. So you'd have to explain that. Is it hot where you're at? Why? Because I'm sweaty? I always look, first of all, I always look sweaty. I should kind of dab myself before I go on, but I don't. And I'm always hot. And that's why I sleep with a chili pad, which is probably one of the best things I ever bought in my entire life. If you sleep hot like I do, then the ability to sleep on a pad that is very cold is heaven. And it also means anytime I turn over my pillow, the other side is freezing cold, which I absolutely love. But it is warm here in Southern Florida. It's not that hot in here. It's probably about somewhere in the 60s in this room because I have to keep it that cold so I don't get hot. That's why I want to send you some samples. Cool. All right, Poet. Well, what's the best way for us to connect then? Poet, do you use Facebook or Instagram? That would probably be one of the better ways because there's no real way in, I think, YouTube for us to communicate. Avocados. Avocados are a good source of the right kind of fats. iHerb has the best price. Is that the best price for what? For N-Acetyl Cysteine? Do they have it? I never even heard of iHerb. Oh, they sell Now Foods. That's good to see. Do they sell NAC? Oh, wow, they do. Huh. They sell 1,000 milligram. Oh, it's out of stock. All right. So what do you buy, April, at iHerb? Because I've never heard of them. Thanks for the shout out. Good to see you. Thanks, Wolf. Yes. Oh, so you bought the 1,000 milligram ones there. They're out of stock now. So that's interesting. Oh, but they do have other ones. I see that here. I've heard good things about the company Thorne. I don't really know anything about them. But their products seem to be more expensive. And I don't even know how much is in this. How much is in this? I shouldn't really be doing this while you guys are watching. So let me go back to this. Oh, cool. Yeah, I definitely will check them out. I have everything on auto ship from Amazon. It just makes my life easier and makes it less likely for me to run out. The only things that I tend to run out and then forget about are things like aniracetam, things I'm getting from Science.bio and Nootropics Depot, and places like that. So let me think about anything else that is new and exciting in my life as it relates to biohacking stuff. I'd say that that's about it, really. I mean, I'm excited about Aura's coming out with a new ring. I pre-ordered that, and it's supposed to be here pretty soon. The Sense AI thing I told you about, and that's something that everyone should check out. So that's SE. I'll just type it in here. SENS.ai. Looks like an amazing tool, and I heard looks like an amazing tool, and all of my friends that are really deep into things have told me to get it, so I did. Matt just texted me and actually asked me a question, and it's actually something else that I've been doing for the last couple of months that I completely forgot about. So on my last blood test, my doctor said that my IGF-1 was a little bit low, which is great for longevity purposes, but not so great for feeling your best. And so mine could be a little bit better if I wanted to feel better, right? And so I asked him what he recommended, and my doctor happens to be like one of the leading cancer researchers. So he's very much against HGH, because HGH, human growth hormone, makes everything grow in the body. And so most of us have some precancerous cells. And if you do, and you take HGH, it's going to accelerate that. And so he's very much against it. When I was in my worst shape, he put me on it for a month, and then he took me right off. But he did recommend that I start doing Epimerelyn and Semimarelin. Those are 2 peptides, which I started about 3 months ago. I actually have to reorder them. I have the box sitting out because I'm on my last files of it. So Epimerelyn and Semimarelin, they're both peptides, and they are peptides that help you. You can't it won't grow your HGH to unhealthy levels. Like, it will just bring it into balance. And I get those at peptidesciences.com. Peptide Sciences. My hair has been growing back. I don't know if you can notice that. Like, it all depends on how I comb it any given day. And a company gave me, because they told me what they do, and it's all the things that I believe in, like microneedling and Rogaine at minoxidil at higher dose. Like, minoxidil, Rogaine has 5% minoxidil. I used to buy overseas like 15% minoxidil. That's what they have too. The name of the company, and I want to make sure I get this right, because they also give you a microneedling device. I already have one, and I like my pen much more than a roller. I think they actually are better, as far as the research goes. And so it's kind of crazy that I've been growing my hair back, but I have. Like, the hair here and here was actually much further back, and it's grown. I don't know that I'll ever get my full head of hair back. That's probably not going to happen as much as I'd like it to. But I know I sent someone a picture of the bottle, so I have it. But this is a company that, if you're losing your hair, you might want to look at. I'm trying to pull it up here, so hold on. Where is it? Let's see. Unless I deleted it, which I don't think I would have, but anything's possible. It's called like adaptogen or something, but I know I don't know the right way to, adaptogen. All right, so that's it. For anyone losing their hair, if they want to know how I'm actually growing back my hair, which I am shocked that it's actually happening, this is the company. Hold on, there we go. Adaptogen. So if you look up that company, this is 15% minoxidil. This, see, it says ARB topical 15. And it is effective. Whoops, it is effective. And the combination of microneedling with minoxidil is very powerful. Can't believe, just wish I would have started doing it earlier. Do I use infrared saunas? I have used infrared saunas in the past. We're getting a sauna here. Like, I've been waiting forever. And Kim, my girlfriend's just been dragging her feet about it because she doesn't know where the right place to put it is. And I'm just like, I don't care. I want it as quickly as we can, because I know it's something that I would use religiously as well. Here's the thing about saunas, all the research that's been done, and there's been an incredible amount of research, and the effects of it are insanely great as far as like staying healthy, anti-aging, building cardiovascular health, etc. But all of those studies have been done on non-infrared. They've been done on Finnish saunas, which get up to about 200 degrees. And that's what causes heat shock proteins, etc. I don't know if I buy into the infrared claims. And there's not been anywhere near the amount of research on infrared as there has been on the Finnish. And so people that I respect, like Andrew Huberman, have said, like, they don't know if they buy into infrared either. And that's all I needed to hear to be like, you know what, we're going to buy a machine we were going to buy a sauna that did both. Those are much more expensive. And then I said, you know what, if all the research has been on a finished sauna, that's what I want to do. And so, yeah, I just don't know. I don't, at least as a look, I'm not a scientist, as I've said before. I know that, like, I follow Rhonda Fitzpatrick, and she also is much more like on the finished sauna kick than the infrared sauna. So I just don't know. I mean, I do believe in photobiomodulation, which is red light, right? At 660 and 860, I believe, is those two frequencies. But I don't, I think like if you want to reap the full reward for saunas, then you're better off doing it as a real sauna, not a infrared sauna. Yes, microneedling with a pen is much better. Yeah, it works so well in my head. I'm tempted to try it on my face, but I'm scared to do that too. ProCell has a popular serum. Is that for hair or for what? How did you end up liking the Botox gift from a few months ago? I loved it. I thought it was cool. Actually, I've been taking the Glynac for a while, and you probably can't tell because I didn't get a great night's sleep last night. But my friend was like, "Did you get it again?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't. But the Glynac has made a difference." I enjoyed it, and I would do more, but I don't know. The fact that it only lasts like a few months seems like I don't want to get into a routine of doing that all the time. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it though. I would do it again. Just not high on my list of something that, yeah, I don't. Right now, at least, it's not high on my list, but I did like it, and I thought it was fun. Yes, that's right. HTH, HGH. Growth hormones are dangerous. You can end up acromegaly and end up gigantic, or you may develop cancers. Yeah, the cancer is much more real to me than the acromegaly, because I would never take that kind of dosage. But I'm here on Facebook as well. We can connect here. Inbox me the best way to get you the samples. Meantime, AC11 helps the body's natural ability to repair its own DNA while simultaneously promoting healthy immune function by increasing the life cycle of white blood cells. Is a registered trademark of Optogenics. So what do you do, Poet? Is this like your field of work, or like what? I'm curious. I will check it out though. Yeah, just open that. Does it improve hair thickness? Yes. I mean, Rogaine, you probably can get away with the lower dosage, but Rogaine is something that women can use as well. But I would check with your doctor, but I think my mom uses Rogaine if I'm remembering correctly. All about the hair regrowth here. Edge of the seat. Yeah. Well, I used to shave my head completely bald, and I was like, because I knew it was going to happen at some point, and that's why I never really cared about losing my hair. And then as it started to really go, I was like, oh my God, and it's real. And I heard a lot of horror stories about finasteride, which is the base of Propecia, right? And so I avoided that and didn't take it. And then as I did more research, I found that only like 1% of the population has a problem. It's my daughter. Only 1% of the population has a problem with it. Hey, baby, I'm on my live stream. Remember? Love you. Call me later. Love you. Bye. I will. Bye. When I started doing research, it's like 1% of the population has a problem. So I went on that about 6 months ago. Don't know how much of what I'm doing is from one versus the other, right? But I did go on finasteride, which is the generic Propecia, about 6 months ago. I been microneedling for a little bit longer, and that's where I noticed probably the biggest difference with regular minoxidil. Then I've taken the minoxidil from 5 to 15, and literally I have little hairs here now that I didn't have in here, but I also this was much further back, and you can even see it in the picture of my 30s. My hair was further back, so it definitely has helped. I think the microneedling combined with the Rogaine is probably the 1-2 punch, but finasteride to keep the hair as long as humanly possible. Did you try raw veganism, detoxification, herbal cleanse, Wim Hof breathing, flushes, dry fasting? This is what I do when I want to feel better and improve my health. I'm not into veganism. I think we were born omnivores and are supposed to be omnivores. Not as a philosophy for everyone, but I believe for me, certainly. I like detoxification, herbal cleanses. I'm not sold on it. Definitely, I like Wim Hof breathing. I've never done any flushes. Dry fasting, I think, is too scary. I don't want to do that. I consume a ridiculous amount of liquids every day, but I feel great. So, I'm not looking for something to totally disrupt what I'm doing. My brother, John Mallet, CEO and founder of OSNAP Active Lifestyle. Our stuff is peer-reviewed, patented, clinically tested, FDA and NSF certified. It's really next level revolutionary. Very cool. All right. Well, then we definitely have to connect, Poet. I will message you on Facebook. And Wolf, my research found same too. So far, no bad effects from finasteride. The one part of the protocol I haven't started is microneedling or the higher level of minoxidil. The microneedling is like, you should really do that. And the guy to watch, like the guy that turned me onto it, and I follow him on a lot of stuff. He's entertaining and he's funny. But he has a whole set of videos on microneedling and all this kind of stuff. And you can even look at his hair. Is Derek from More Plates, More Dates. And if anyone knows Derek from More Plates, More Dates, tell him that he has a huge fan in me. Yeah, even just microneedling with regular minoxidil made a big difference for me. Certainly has. I'm not vegan, but eat animals who are. Yeah, as do I. Hello, Oscar Tang. Good to see you. So yeah, that's interesting about what Poet was sharing. I'm really going to look forward to connecting with him. We all have our things to be vain about, and I guess my hair was one of them. And my fitness level is the other thing. And being in the best shape of my life, which I certainly am in right now, I can easily do like 10,000 jump rope jumps in a day or in a session. And it feels good to feel good. And I also think, if you're going to, like, in what I do, I think when you are a teacher, but like, where people are paying for your advice, your information, etc., I think it certainly helps to be in good physical shape, because it just is another kind of indicator that you've got your shit together. And, I've been fat and I've been thin. I certainly have, my weight goes up and down. But I definitely am more in the driver's seat when I'm in my best shape. And I think that gets projected out. And so for me, it's important. And the other thing is, for me, is being in my 50s now, everyone I know who's older, generally I've experienced them hitting a wall where they are no longer capable of what they once were, or that there's like this overall low grade of like physical pulling back. I don't know what would be the best way to describe it. I recognize that that's part of the aging process. Everyone goes through it, but and I will too. But my goal is to push that off as long as possible. It's going to happen, right? There's going to be a time when I need reading glasses to read. It's kind of going to be unavoidable, right? But like, the longer I can go without it, the happier I am, as a test of myself, and also that, like, I just want to maintain my youth as long as possible, I guess. And so that's what really, oh, that's so cool, Wolf, that you're a fan of Derek. So he did some great stuff on microneedling, and supposedly they're a lot better than rollers, because rollers, you can't really control the depth as easily as with microneedling. I find that I have to go a lot deeper, generally at almost 2.5 mil, down, to get like any like red dots and stuff. But yeah, Derek has some really good videos on microneedling, and that's where I first heard about it, and that's where I got it. And yeah, there are many different protocols for it. So just notice what Derek has to say. And I think, guys, that unless you guys have questions, I'm glad to answer any questions that you have. But if you guys have questions, I'd love to answer them. Emmy, the name of the software is the name of his avatar right there. It's Flying Logic. So that's where you'll find the software. Yeah, I don't see it on Instagram. So anyone have any questions that I can answer as it relates to any of the things I take or any of the things I do? I'm trying to go to bed earlier these days. That's really something I find that the easiest thing to do is for me is to wake up early, and that kind of resets my clock to then start going to bed early. And what I find is that, like, I'm really never at my best at late at night, and nothing good ever happens late at night. I'd much rather have those alone hours early in the morning as opposed to late at night. And so waking up earlier and earlier for me has always been a better approach. The other thing is I'm taking a pot holiday, meaning I'm taking a break from smoking. I find I have to do that from time to time. And I've been really irritable since I stopped. I'm not sure what that's about, but whenever I get to a place where my tolerance becomes pretty high, there's no point in smoking. So I generally cut that out, and for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 100 days, whatever. And so I'm on a break from that right now as well. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that is really kind of interesting. No, not really. Other than the Glynac, that's probably and really excited about Sense AI. That's really what I'm interested in at the moment. It took a heart attack and open heart surgery at 37 to get me to address my mental health. That was definitely a kick in the ass. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be. I've avoided that. Knock on wood. High fitness levels do confer greater credibility. I've been bodybuilding since I was 14, and no one wants to believe I'm a software developer. It helps people remember meeting me. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Like I did this transformational weekend or week called the Hoffman Process in California, up in like wine country. And maybe like there were, I don't know, 60 to 70 or 80 of us there. And they break you up into smaller groups, like of 8. And in that group of 8, the very first thing they had us do was write our first impressions of the other 7 of us in the group, and for ourselves to keep until the last day. On the last day, we shared, we got to know each other really well. So, this was more in service to each person, like what first impressions did you convey? And for me, I think like 4 out of the 7 had dumb jock, which was like, when you know me, most people wouldn't associate me as that. But that was really interesting to me. And so now that I'm in like really the best shape that I've ever been in, and when I was in Vegas, especially, well, when I was in Cabo, a couple of people said to me, like, hey, how come you're not in the pool with us? If I had your 6-pack, I'd be like taking it off all the time, which was complimentary and whatever. And, certainly friends in Vegas said similar things. But I've been wearing tighter t-shirts because I'm in such better shape. I'm kind of proud of it. And I'm not sure that that's really the kind of vibe that I want to give out, especially when I wasn't wearing that. People are already thinking dumb jock. So I don't really know at this moment, like, how I want then, like, if I'm going to change the way I dress or not. But I know that I like to wear these tight t-shirts sometimes, but I don't necessarily like the attention. And I definitely don't want to convey dumb jock. That's not who I am. So that's interesting, but I haven't figured that out yet. But if you notice that I start wearing a whole bunch of different clothes, then you'll know why, right? And also, like, it's been like 20 years wearing this black V-neck and jeans for the most part. And maybe it's time for an update. But if you're really jacked, Wolf, then I could see people remembering you for that way. The software, Emmy, is named Flying Logic. Happy Thanksgiving next week. Thank you. Yeah, let me see if I think I'm pretty sure I have Flying Logic on this computer. See, I know I have, I generally use 2 computers when I'm working here. So let's see. I'm trying to find there we go. Oh, I can just go to apps actually. See if I have it on here. No, I do. See if I can open it. Or if no, can't open it right now. All right. Can't open it right now. Thanks for that. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I really hope that, I hope the world becomes a better place. I hope, what concerns me most these days is that I just in the US, if you're in the US, the distrust of media, the polarization of both sides, and most importantly, probably the discrepancy, the wide gulf between the uber wealthy and everyone else is problematic, and that most societies break down when that gets too extreme. A revolution happens. And I don't see any way that gets improved. In fact, unless, and it's not that I believe in anything specific, right? But as long as capital gains are taxed at 20% and income is taxed at 45% or whatever, there's a disparity there. As long as there is the step up, not only for, I could totally understand one generation step up basis. What I don't understand is the infinite step up basis. And just for everyone's own understanding, that means if I buy stock, when I pass away, when my kids inherit it, right, that the basis for the cost basis of that stock gets reset to where it is the day I die, the day they get it, so that they don't have to pay the taxes on the unclaimed gain of when I bought it to when I passed away. That kind of makes sense, I guess. I can totally see that, especially if you started a company and you have the stock, should your kids, whatever. But the way that it's written in law today is that happens forever. So if my kids take loans against that stock, never sell that stock, when they pass away and give it to their kids, new step-up basis, and when their kids, new step-up basis. So the taxes never get paid. So, you could start a company, the shares could go to $1 gazillion, and no one's ever paid income on that, right? Because every time that it gets passed down, the new basis goes up. It's a way for the uber wealthy to hold on to uber wealth. Whatever the case is, though, I just don't like where the world is going. And I don't like where our world is going, where the United States is going. And I don't know how we ever trust media again. I don't know how the polarized sides ever come together again. And I also don't know how the wide disparity between the wealthy and those that aren't ever gets smaller, doesn't increase more. And I think those are recipes for problems. And so that's what has me most concerned these days, is actually the world that we live in and what's going to happen. My hope is that I feel better about the world at the end of 2022 than I do now as we end 2021. Certainly feel worse about the world today than I did at the end of 2020. And I felt worse in 2020 about the world than I did in 2019. So we're on a bad trend. I don't know if you guys agree with me or disagree with me about that line of thinking, but I'm just sharing my thoughts on it. And I'm not trying to make it overly political, because I don't think either side really has the answers. But I do blame the media tremendously for being so polarizing, and for really abusing the trust that they had. I think that's inexcusable, really. I think they've done a lot of harm. So with that, not to be a downer and all that, Matt, I know that let's talk in the morning. I've been working on the lifetime stuff. I also have a call with Jason Fladline tomorrow, Matt, to cover my ideas. I'm going to finally make those outlines for the webinar, like the old one versus the one I'm thinking about right now. And this way you and I can go over it, and then I'll go over it with Jason. You're more than welcome to hop on that call as well, Matt. Matt runs the day-to-day of my company, and he was the one that texted me about the peptides. This was why the TV was turned off in 2011, and it wasn't assisting my preferred positive self. Yeah, I can't watch the news anymore. You're speaking all facts, brother. Appreciate that. Yes, the world needs to heal. Sending some of my Piscean energy. I'm a Pisces too. March 13th is my birthday. All of those who need it, peace and love and prayers. Sending tons of love and appreciation vibes to you, Rich. Thanks, Emmy. Yeah, but how is the world ever going to change? That's the problem, right? And I'm not trying to like start a new cause or anything like that, but I am really worried, no doubt. And thank God that there, and I don't like what big tech has done, but you've heard me talk about that countless times. Yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad. Anyway, guys, so on Tuesday, I'm going to talk to you about my journal. I've been keeping journals for 30 years. Here's the one I'm currently working on. Oh, wow, it got a little wet in one place. And, as you can see, it's just my day-to-day, right? Like all different types of stuff, whatever's going on in my life, I write about it. And I try to do it every day. I would be lying if I said I do it every day, but I do it more days than I don't. And I can tell you that if you really want to understand yourself at a level that no one else can open your eyes to, it is keeping a journal over an extended period of time. One of the things that becomes very obvious when you've done it as long as I have for 30 years, you see the same patterns come up over and over again. And until you realize, oh, this is what I do. This is me. This is, it's very easy to spot them when you have it written out in front of you. In addition to really, it's the only time that I know when I'm really sitting and thinking is when I'm actually writing stuff down. So that's what journal writing is for me, in addition to really just helping me be at my best, help me process my life, my day, my relationships, and everything else. So with that said, guys, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to wrap a little bit early. I will see those of you who feel like joining me on Tuesday from 2 to 4 on either Facebook, YouTube. I'm going to check out this Instagram video. I don't know where it went or how it looks, or if anyone tried to contact me on Instagram during the whole time it was live. I just connected Yellow Duck to StreamYard, and supposedly it worked. So we'll see what that's like. But I'll see everyone on Tuesday. And I will, if you guys remind me on Tuesday, I will post that spreadsheet of everything I take, and because I should have that prepared anyway when I go see my doctor. And that's it. Have a wonderful weekend. My kids are coming home for Thanksgiving. They'll be home on Friday. First time be with the whole family again in a while, so I'm excited about that and really looking forward to that. So until Tuesday, to Higher Profits Beyond, Rich Sheffrin over and out.